Hello and a good evening to you. My name is Yafod Atobra. I welcome you to Auntie Yaa'S Cozy Book Chat. And tonight we take a topic and we review it from my second book that came out in March this year, The Beauty of a Woman's Heart. My co-host, Mrs. Yabuatma Russell, I'm not sure where she's at now or if she's able to join. So I'll say that she's gone AWOL. So it might just be myself on this program. So, anyway, let me just continue sharing to groups and then we'll come back and start. Just give me a second here. So, I trust that you had a great Sunday. If you are a believer, you probably went to church today. Oh, I'm trying to find something and I can't even find it. Yeah, so it's interesting. Let me see here. Okay, I put this in here twice, so let me delete it. All right, so I'm going to continue sharing. Like I said, I had put the link in a particular page 2 times, and I don't think anybody, appreciates you spamming their group. So I just had to make sure that I had deleted it out. Okay, so let's go here. Yes, there's something to be said for being in a spirit-filled church where they are not afraid to, you know, just worship God. And yeah, so it was an awesome time. Okay, so I'm going to just share to a few friends too, so that they know that we are here and can join us. All right. Okay, so let's get started. So today's topic seems to be a continuation because it's the same theme. Last Thursday, I did Cultivating Your Inner Beauty, and today we're going to be doing, I called it Keeping Up Appearances, and it's based on The Woman of Inner Beauty on page 129 to 130. So, what I'll do is that I will, what I'll do is that I will, just give me a second. Okay, what I'll do is that I will just read through it and then we'll do the discussion. So basically, and then we have some questions that we have to answer. So on page 129, I say, this is what inner beauty is not. It is not about being shallow, and it is not about being selfish. Neither is it about being self absorbed. It is not about being fixated on outer appearances. So, so then the first question that I asked, this is the post for today. And then the first question is, what do you think about shallow, selfish, and self absorbed people? There's all kinds of people, and we are called to be, even in polite society, you're just called upon to be polite to people that you come in contact with. But there are some that we meet who seem a little, self absorbed. They take it over the top. It's like the whole world revolves around them, and they don't seem to have any, what do you call it? They don't seem to have any inclination to include other people in their circle. They are the centerpiece. And the classic example that I find is you can be on the train going to work before COVID hit, and you'll find people, all kinds of conversations going on around you. and you can find the one person, two ladies talking, and the other one, oh yeah, oh really, nodding and agreeing and making comments. And so that person goes on for the longest time, and the other person is just responding, interjecting here and there. But I was raised to be polite, I guess maybe too polite, before I came to Canada. So the thing about it is, when somebody is talking for the longest time, you have to give yourself a break and also ask the other person that, hey, how about you? Like me, when people see me, oh, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then I say, oh, hey, this or that. And they add comments. Oh, really? Oh, this is what's going on. And then I stop myself and then I do the polite thing. And how about you? Just so to include the person and also show some interest in another person's situation, right? But these ones, they don't have a clue. It's just about them, and they just want everybody to focus on them. Like they seem so self-absorbed is the word, because everything has to go their way, and if it doesn't, then they are not very happy. And I don't know, it carries on. You see it in different kinds of situations. It could be amongst siblings, it could be amongst friends. Yeah. And when you see it in the family settings, is those ones who have been pampered and whatever, so they feel that everybody has to give in to them. But if you raise a little child like that, even to think that everything is about them, what happens is that they don't know how to stop, like they grow up to be so full of themselves that they don't even know how to share, basic things. And they think that, yes, we are here to cater to them, but you have to realize and let your child know that there's other people in the world around them too. And so if those dynamics are not stopped, then we grow up with it and then we see what we see. But I mean, I guess, the reality of it is, we say it takes all sorts to make things go around. But then sometimes this all sorts of behaviors that we put up with also comes with a lot of pain and other what have yous. Anyway, I'll continue reading. So I continue that writing that it is not about having the latest fashions. It is not about being better than others, and it is not about being more beautiful than another. So it is not about being full of ourselves, because if we are, then there's no room for God in our hearts. It is about cultivating a quiet spirit. It is about having a loving heart. It's also about being gracious and kind to others. So the next question that I ask is, are you fixated on outer appearances? It's like somebody who's always, oh, my hair, oh, my eyebrows, oh, I have to look pretty, oh, I have to look beautiful. Look, there's a the what word should I use? I'll still use the fixated. There's a healthy fixation, but I wouldn't say fixation, but everybody wants to look good, everybody wants to look decent. It is just proper. It's just, society and how we live. Any human being should feel proud of themselves and present a good outer, picture. But as I said last Thursday in the other cultivating your inner beauty, I said that you should be more focused on working on the inside than the outside. So there are some who do it like every latest fashion, their hair, they have to change their hair, they have to do this, they have to do that, and it's on and on that it goes. So it becomes quite, you know, it becomes quite incredible when you see it borders on phoniness. It borders on phoniness, that because it's just so superficial. There's no depth to this person, because all they are interested in is the latest gadgets, the latest phones, the latest Gucci bags, this and that. And so, you know, and two, that it may lead you to become so dissatisfied with yourself that you want to change yourself just to fit some outside model or some pressure that society has put on us. And so I carry on. Yeah. For me, I'll say that I'm fixated up to a degree, in the sense of that, you have a professional image to project when you're going to work. So of course you can't show up in shabby clothes or wearing sweats and hair unkempt and this and that. No. So it's okay to pay attention to those details. There's a health, even if not for work, for yourself. You as a person, you love yourself, you take good care of yourself. So yeah, I know people tend to focus on the outward before they see the outward, before they get to know you, and then what's inside you comes out, and it draws you closer to people. So it is okay to have a healthy, um, you know, healthy view of how you present yourself, making sure you look good. We all like to look good. When you dress up and you look good, but I'm not talking about the kind that you have to be so shallow about. It's just common decency to take pride and take care of your appearance. So yeah, I'll move along to the next um, passage. So I say it is about being gracious. The woman of inner beauty is about being gracious and kind to others. It is about emptying of oneself, a total surrender to our loving Father so he fills us up. It is about pouring out ourselves for the benefit of others. So let's see. I ask the question, how do you understand cultivating a quiet spirit and a loving heart? Let me look at my notes and what I wrote. I said that it's not about being, what do you call it? It's not about being bossy and noisy, pushing people around. It's neither about being, what do you call it? When I say a quiet spirit, it doesn't mean that be meek and have people walk all over you, no. But you hold yourself with dignity. You respect yourself in whatever situations and circumstances that you are in, so that people can gravitate towards you. You know how you feel when you meet loud people, loud mouths, and they are very aggressive, and they say things, they are very abrasive or abrupt. They say things that are not supposed to be said in polite society. So when you meet people like that, it throws you off. But having a loving heart, there's nothing wrong with being a loving person. But I'm not talking here about, oh, good evening, Mr. Bedu. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. It is not about, being mean to people. The world has become so, what's the word that I use? Things have changed so much so that though there's still good and kind, decent people around, it's almost like it's become survival of the fittest, and it's a dog eat dog world. So people that tend to watch out for just themselves. So if you are cultivating a quiet spirit or a loving heart, they look at you that you are weak. You are weak, and you are somebody that the people don't see any value in it, because we are told, especially even professional circles, that, oh, you have to do all you can do to climb the corporate ladder. So if you are going to be, boko quiet and meek, you are not going to get anywhere. But you know something? You know yourself and you own yourself. There, you have values that you choose to live by. If you are the one who believes in, sometimes what it is too is that, and I could be wrong on this, but I'll just put it out there. What it is that we have this feeling that we have things from the outside that tell us what to do. We are responding to societal pressures on us. This is what I have to do to climb up the corporate ladder. So I'll present myself a certain way. I'll be this, I'll be that. Then at the end of the day, if you're doing all that and you are not, hello, Abigail, welcome. If you are doing all that and you are not living by your own values, I tell you, the first sign of disappointment, say maybe a position you applied for that you don't get, or something, some office situation that you were looking up to some higher up because you've been taught that, oh yeah, you have to schmooze, you have to brown nose, and then you face a disappointment. If you are not a strong person, it will spiral you into some depression. You think that your whole world is over. So this is why when we say cultivating a quiet spirit and a loving heart, it's you on the inside of you and what you value as important, how you present yourself. It's okay. You don't need to go talking to people rudely or aggressively or bossing people around. You know what I found? I found out that those people who hold themselves with that quiet dignity, people have a lot of respect and a lot of regard for them. And yet, sometimes when we feel we've become so insecure, we are so into public opinion that we feel so weak and so afraid to stand on our own and live by our own values. But you realize that you see those people and they are held in high esteem because the way they hold themselves, nobody is going to go to them and talk to them anyhow. And they are not being snooty or anything. They are very respectful. They are very cordial people. You get along with them, all kinds of stuff. So it goes to show that when you make a decision to stand on your own, live by your values, you get farther ahead. I mean, maybe you're not climbing up the corporate ladder at breakneck speed, but you're true to yourself. At the end of the day, when you go to bed, you can sleep well. But if you're going to bed and you're thinking of, oh, who can I suck up to? Who can I brown nose to tomorrow? Because you don't know who you are. You don't have that quiet spirit and you think everybody is clamoring and fighting. So you're also clawing, oh, who can I pull down? Who can I push down? Look good. Who am I going to please tomorrow? Who's going to be the sacrificial lamb for me tomorrow that I'll put them down and I get ahead? Then you are in for, you'll never be happy because the target keeps changing. If you are constant and you believe in yourself and you have that quiet spirit, it helps you in all scenarios. So, I mean, I'm speaking to women, but it goes for any human being. It goes for men as well. Yes. So I will continue reading. So the next thing I said, it is about making people who come in contact with us feel special, that they are important and that they matter. So what was my next question? Okay. Give me a second. I'm trying to pull out. Okay, I'll read some more before I come to that question. So I said, the woman of inner beauty has no need to clamor for attention. Look at me. See how beautiful I am. She simply is because she has allowed God in to fill up all her empty spaces. She is content to give of herself because there is more than enough of her to go around. She loves unconditionally because God is her source, not herself. So I asked the question, how do you feel around a woman of inner beauty? There are people around that when there's some women that when you meet them, the clamoring, I'm trying to show the clamoring. There's some women that you meet them, you don't even know them. You don't know them from a hole in the ground, but they take one look at you, and then there's just something about you that puts them off. For those of you who have just come on, we are talking about The Beauty of a Woman's Heart, this book here, my second book. And we're talking about keeping up appearances, and it's based on The Woman of Inner Beauty on pages 129 and 130. So it's like, we all keep up appearances, whether good or bad, but what is the focus? Is it the outer appearances that we are focusing on, or is it the inner? So the conversations about the woman of inner beauty. So like I was saying, they see you, they don't know you, but maybe because you are nicely dressed or, yes, you are right. Because you are nicely dressed or for whatever reason, they feel envious and there's some jealousy amongst women that I can't begin to understand, but you see it and then they start getting weird around you or showing you behaviors. It could be that they are, I don't know how to say it in English, say blinking the eyes, or doing all kinds of things or being weird. I have that happen before at some gathering, and this person that I don't know them, a bunch of them, they started being so funny. So at one point, we were in a lineup, and I looked at the one of them, and I also I made some look, like she got my message. And then, so when I was telling my daughter said, Mom, But how is it even that you have to do that for them to even know that you know what they are doing? And I said, sometimes people do certain things. It's not what you say to them, but you have to also react sometimes. And she got the message because it was uncalled for, all because I was in a nice Ghanaian print. You know something? What I do is when I see women, I've said this before on this platform, in my building where I work, if I see somebody in a nice color, I'll say it. Oh, hey, that looks nice on you. We have a chat. They get to their floor, they get off, have a good day. What did it cost me? I didn't lose a pound of flesh. I didn't lose my eye. I didn't lose a finger. It is that easy to compliment people. That's something that we from somewhere that I won't mention, we are not very good at those things. Women can be cutting different. When you see an insecure woman, because you're in their presence and they are fiddling, flipping their hair, or doing whatever, and then you go, okay, what's going on here? But if you, the woman of inner beauty, when you see them, you feel comfortable, you feel special, and you feel present, because those other insecure ones, there's something about you that is making them jealous or feel insecure. So they do all these things, and there's a group of you, and you see they are flipping all, and they try to cut you out of what is going on. They'll talk to everybody and be avoiding you. And if you are not secure in yourself, you tell yourself, oh, what did I do? Is it me? Listen, it's about them. Never take on that. When you go into public circles and you see that kind of behavior, learn to discern and put it where it belongs. It's not about you, it's about them. A woman of inner beauty. Look, you can be sitting with her quietly, like Miss Abigail said, you feel at peace in their presence. You can be sitting with them and you don't even have to talk. You're just sitting contentedly. If you want to talk, you'll talk, but there's no need to. They make you feel special because you know what? They've done their work. They know who they are. They know their dignity. They know they don't feel threatened by you. They know that you are another sister, that, like you're whatever, for whoever she is or whatever it is, that relationship you have with her. She's there to help you, to build you up, or just be a friend, be a listening ear to you. How many of us can do that? How many of us can do that? It is so, so sad the way that women tear each other apart viciously too, I might add. So you see, it's not doing anybody any good. And with that said, let's take a break and we'll be back to continue. Okay. Hello, and there it is. That was just my third book, Refreshing for My Weary Soul, that came out on October 12th. And you can find that on Amazon, Canada, US, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, UK. I'm trying to find my ticker. Germany, Australia, and Japan. Please get your copy. get your copies. Okay, it is a devotional. It's 100 and what do you call it? Just about 120 pages. It's a very good read. It will bless you. And it's, I love this book because it is so, look at the size of it. It is a good read. It's easy to read through, and there's devotionals based on scriptures from the Bible. It's made up of 3 parts. So the first part is a little drop of pearl. I take a passage, I talk about it, and then I say, ask yourself. So that has the questions. And then there's a little drop of pearl section. So that's where the answers are. And the second part is called Waters of Refreshing. So there's that section. And the third is Practical Nyamisem. For those of you who are regulars, if you recall, at the beginning of January, I started doing this program every Tuesday from the Word of God, because when I sit down and I analyze how we worship God back home and how we don't apply the scriptures. The classic example that I give is that people sit in church 7 days a week and they want manna to fall from heaven and bless them. So how about you go to work? And who are these, church leadership who allow people to come and sit in church 7 days a week instead of encouraging them to go out and work? Because the Bible also tells us that God will establish the work of your hands. If you work hard, that's how you'll be blessed, right? I don't say that I have all the answers, but those are my observations. So those lives that I did, they are also here in this book. And on Tuesday, so instead of Practical Nyamisem, for now, this is what I'm doing. On Tuesdays, I come and I take a passage from this book, and that's what we talk about. So I'll be here next Tuesday, this Tuesday coming. The topic for this Tuesday is Be Guileless, and it's based on John 1:47. So join me at 6:30 on Tuesday, will you? As well, my second book that we are discussing today is The Beauty of a Woman's Heart, that you can find on Amazon, UK, Canada, US, France, Spain, Germany, Italy, and Innovi Books. As well, don't forget my first book, Reflections for a Thirsty Soul, that you can find on Freezing Press, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Google Books, and iTunes. I encourage you to go out and get a copy of these books. Whichever, if you can get all 3, fine. Whichever one you want to get it, because it is chock full of nuggets, and that will bless you. You'll be inspired. So that is my encouragement for you today. Oh, hello, Miss Sage. Thank you for coming on. You're welcome. So let's continue. Again, we were talking about, where are my banners? Keeping up appearances based on the woman of inner beauty. So we've been talking basically about the woman of inner beauty, and I started out with what it is not. So you'll find all that on page 129 of the book. So I said it's not about being selfish, being self-absorbed. So we've answered a few questions. I'm just summarizing here again. So the first question that I asked is that, what do you think about shallow, selfish, and self-absorbed people? Because there are some people who are like that. Like, you find some women like that, all they are focused on is their beauty. They are better than everybody. They are more beautiful than everybody. And, there's no room in their lives to include people. I gave the example of, you can be on a train or bus and 2 people are talking and one person is doing all the talking. They never stop to say, hey, how about you? So that they hear something from the other person. So these are things that we were taught, like, anyway, Emily Post type things that we were taught. But here, it's like people, it's just all about me, 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 me. And sometimes you lose the boat when you're too wrapped up in yourself. And then also I'd ask the question is, the other question I'd ask is, are you fixated on outer appearance? And I said, to a degree, because everybody should be interested in how they look. It's just you, like, you are you're a vessel, you're a special person. If you love yourself, you own yourself, flaws and all. How you present yourself to the outside world matters. You're not doing it for them. For me, you're doing it for you, but there's pride. If you take pride in yourself, you present yourself well. You won't show up at an interview dressed shabbily of course, that they'll mark you. Outer appearance, that's just human nature. We're very focused on outer appearance. So you show up at an interview dressed shabbily. I tell you, no matter what you know, you might not be getting that job. So presentation is everything. But it's not to the point that it leads to vanity. Oh, I'm more beautiful. Look, I've been on platforms where I've seen a fellow woman, uh, giving a presentation, and then somebody has the audacity to come down there and write a comment that, oh, you are ugly. And I'm thinking, who is this shallow person? It's amazing what is going on these days in public spaces. It's just amazing. So, the training, if you haven't had any proper training, the way you behave and how you treat others, it tells a whole lot about you. But we don't seem to care these days. It seems like the values have gone down somehow. And so then the other question that I'd ask is, what do you understand by cultivating a quiet spirit and a loving heart? And the last question had been, how do you feel about a woman of inner beauty? So I am going to read the last paragraph here. I say that we pray God will give his daughters the strength needed to get to this place, a place of contentment and fulfillment where we are not in competition with one another, but basking in his glory and being a blessing to others. Yes, right now, this what I'm saying here, we become women. It seems like, especially if I'm going to go there, I'm going to go to the cultural background thing. We become a people that we don't even say we are dressing up for ourselves, or dress up well so that a man will see you or you can snag a man, that type of thing. So women compete with each other this way for men. And meanwhile, you ask yourself about, what is your purpose? You yourself, what did you come to this earth to do? Is that all there is for you, to be competing with people? Or somebody has bought this, so I also have to go and buy it, you know? Yeah. Like, it's amazing that we are programmed that way. Miss Sage says outer appearance is also important because people will not come close to you if your clothes are dirty and they do not know you. That is true. People will shun you just based on the first impression that you give them. So that was hang on there. I'll bring up the actual title. This is what we're talking about today. So in the original script, on the reflections, even I asked the question, where are you on your journey to wholeness, peace, and serenity? It's like, I know Abigail had made Abigail had made a comment that you feel at peace when you are in the presence of a woman of inner beauty. So in this section, I'm saying, where are you on your journey to wholeness, peace, and serenity? You know, it's it's a question that every woman has to answer for themselves, or men for that matter, because men also do compete with each other. They have their own pressures to do well in society and this and that. And yeah, there's the old boys club, you have to push and get an in and all that stuff. But we're talking about women here because of women have this capacity to be very catty to one another. Look, there's places where the sisterhood really works, but it's, maybe I should say, it's few and far between. It takes a conscious effort. You have to make a conscious effort to get to that place. So if you are living your life by looking at other people, reacting to other people's pressures, you'll never come to that place of peace, quietness, and serenity. Look, like myself, COVID has restricted us from going to these gatherings and this and that. So yesterday we had to go to a community program, and albeit a sad one. And I haven't been out in a while. So I was saying to myself, I wonder how it is going to be like, because not to say that I'm so special or so whatever, but sometimes you get weird comments from people and you wonder, oh, what is it? Where is it coming from? What's going to happen? But I didn't sweat about it. I just went and it was okay. But you do get that. Like, people can be mean, people can be weird. It's like me, even like, there's a particular somebody that I knew that if he had been there, he would be making weird comments about me and my books. And I'm thinking, like, maybe instead of saying something complimentary, they give you backhanded compliments. And I say, we as a people, we are not so good. We're not so good about praising people, empowering people, inspiring people, making people feel good about themselves. How about we learn to do that? Like, we would go a long way. Let me read some comments. Adjoa says, "Oh, say that again." Or, "Some such people are pathetic, feel intimidated by strong women, insecure, and lack of so many coping skills, including boundaries." I hear you, sis. Hello, Aisha. Welcome, welcome. Greetings and more grace to our author, Bakope, with incredible knowledge. Obapaya Foda Atobra, along with all the lovely friends and family, as well as viewers on the platform. Ajua, we receive your greetings. Don't let my head get bigger. I already have one. Just kidding. So, yeah, where are you on your journey? Are you working on yourself? Are you invested in working on yourself? It's like, it doesn't take much to be a decent human being. The world that we know right now, a lady I met said this. She's a woman of God. She made this comment. She said that, in our time, she's coming to understand how, when our parents were teaching us all these values, pushing us to go to church, you go to, what is it called? Even in secondary school, every day you go to church service before you go to classes, this and this and that. We didn't understand it, but thank God that they taught us that, because right now, these younger generations, they are struggling because they are in the group of mothers are out there struggling to cope and finding jobs, working all kinds of jobs. So they are left on their own, and then they have to cope. And coping, how do you cope? Who are you getting your messages from, right? And they may be getting wrong messages and getting themselves into all kinds of troubles. So we as women at this stage, wouldn't it be better to spend time investing in some younger woman if they want to be invested in? There are still people, look, we know that right now the system has changed, values have changed, but there's still people who are seeking something. People are just wanting attention. And if you give them the right kind of attention, they are willing to listen to your advice or whatever that support that may be. It goes a long way. But instead of that, we spend time bickering, fighting each other, being catty to one another, and it's just not being helpful. And when we say we're getting on your journey of wholeness and peace and serenity, it takes work. Excuse me, it takes work. Like, you have to work on yourself, and you work on yourself by finding out where you are at. Are you okay with where you are at? Like, is life going well for you? Or is there something you want to do that you haven't done? You know, what are your goals? Did you have any? Like, I was talking to I was talking to my younger daughter 2 days ago, and I said, "Oh yeah, it's getting to the end of the year. It's October will be over in a few days, well, in a week. And then we're going to November, and then we're going to December." So I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay. I need to start looking at what I had on my vision board for this year, what I've been able to do and what I haven't been able to, and I have to start thinking of the next year, my goals and all that." And I said, "Oh, so what are your goals? Do you have any plans?" She goes, "Yeah, I have my goals." And she's giving me this funny smile. She goes, "Yeah, something about some of it is in her head." And I said, something, things that are in your head, they don't get done. When you write it out, you'll be tempted to. But the reason why I'm laughing and smiling as I'm saying this is I say to myself, "Oh no, the advantages of being young," but they don't see it. They think it's just a grown-up mom talking down at them about something. And I'm telling myself, if I'd had somebody tell me what I'm telling you now, boy, oh boy. But it is all good. Like, you have to start talking to them, push in life. Nobody's going to come and do anything for you. You have to do it yourself. There are some women who think that everybody owes them everything. They are in a state of learned helplessness. All they know is that I'm married more well. The culture says my husband is supposed to look after me too. They don't motivate themselves. They are just there, right? But when you do that too, you become too much, you put too much pressure on your husband. And then these men too, who may be stuck with women like that, then they are looking outside, admiring women who are and pushing and making a headway. These days, it's not all men who just want women to control. There are men now, they want women who will meet them boot for boot. Or say, I can't, maybe I'm using the wrong term, but because they like it. They want you to also be strong, and it takes a secure man to want to that kind of woman. Or even if she's not and she's willing to do that work, you engage with her, you motivate her. You're supposed to motivate each other, really, because you're a family. So what are your goals? What are his goals? What are the together goals? And what are, like, the together goals are the family, you and your children. Where do you want to see yourself, or what are your plans? That type thing. So for me, it's important. Like, before, I won't sit here and say that I've always been doing this. I'd say a few years ago, I don't know if it's 5 or 10 years ago, my pastor had brought a development plan, and I looked at it. Oh, I'm somebody, I'll look at it. Oh, okay. And then put it somewhere, not bother. Or I'm reading a book that has questions in it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll answer this in my head. But then I wrote a book and I have questions in it, so I answer the questions now. Like, when you write things out, then you go back to it and go, oh yeah. Like, for me, I know when they say vision board, people, there's a fancy ones, they go and get a board and this and that, or put pictures on it, whatever it is. There's different types. But mine, okay, I have it in the, what do you call it, OneNote, and it's in sections. So I have my literary goals, that's to do with my writing. I have my financial, I have my learning, like whatever, if I'm taking a course online or reading, or just, and my spiritual goals, just different things like that. It just helps to keep you on track. It's like, it's not to put pressure on yourself, but it's not to put pressure on yourself, but also it forces you to go back and look at it and say, oh, I said I'll do this. I'm behind in this. Let me push. Let me go do it. Right. And in doing that too, maybe it forces you to think through and think that, oh, I'm interested in this. Maybe I need to go and explore it some more, right? But you, as a person, you need to come from the place of being honest with yourself, sitting down and assessing your strengths, your weaknesses. What have you? You have to know who you are, because a lot of people don't know who they are. They don't know what they want to do. And then before you know it, life is over. Time has passed. Yeah, because they will say to themselves, "Oh, I'm too old. Why should I bother? Oh, I'm too this." Like, there's things that we say, it's not encouraging at all. Like, for me, when I hear that from a human being's mouth, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, they've given up on life." Like, how can you just give up on yourself? Look, you are alive. You are breathing on your own. You are healthy. What can you do for yourself but be the best version of yourself and bless somebody else? Look, we all have something to offer each other. We all have something to offer each other. So, this journey of contentment, wholeness, peace, uh, it's these are hard lessons to learn, because it's not easy to get there, and you need to allow, if you're a believer and you're in the Word, you need to allow the Holy Spirit, and like, you need to be pruned, and all kinds of things have to happen to you. Look, as I sit here, I'm not the same person I was when I was in my 30s or 40s or whatever. You grow. You have to be willing to grow. It's a process. It's a process. Well, a lot of us women, we don't spend time growing ourselves. We just think that, oh, we are here to look beautiful, and all we need in life, our badge of honor is to get married. But you get married, I've said it and over and over and over again. You get married, the children come, the children grow up, and then they are gone. And what will you do with yourself? It's okay to be selfish. Like me now, Sometimes I feel bad because my kids are wanting my attention and I'm busy doing things. But and then of course they try the guilt trip, but I'm like, okay, you guys, you're young adults now, you do your own thing. When you're doing your thing, I don't come and disturb you because I know you are busy. But why do you want me? Like it's okay for me to take my me time because now I don't need to put diapers on you. I don't need to give you a bath. I'm free. I can do whatever I want to do. So you have to learn like contentment. Even if you ask some women that, can you stay by yourself in your home for, if you don't live alone, that is, so you live with your family and people have gone off doing their business, are you even able to stay by yourself for 1 hour? There are some people that they can't sit in silence, be at home by themselves for an hour. So it tells me that you are not used to your own company. The best thing that you can learn on this earth is to love your own company, because there's times that when you need people and they won't be there, you have to learn to occupy yourself. And look, you can even just sit down listening to the silence, however long you can do that. You sit down enjoying the quiet. If you get tired of it, you move on to something, read or go do something else. But can you be by yourself for long periods of time? You know, we need to work through our insecurities, whatever it is that is holding us back from making progress. And the thing too is that we see other women who've taken the time and have done this work, and we begrudge them. You're welcome, sis. We begrudge them that, oh, but this person, or no, who does she think she is? Look at her, all this, all that. The comments just keep coming and coming, but you don't know the pain she went through to get to where she's at. You don't know, you'll never know too. you don't you don't know. You just see the final product and you go, oh boy, she had it easy. Look at her, blah, 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 blah. And then we make these snarky remarks. Do you know how many times she cried at night? Do you know how many times, how hard she worked to get the resources to do whatever it is that she had to do? Do you know what do you call it, therapy or whatever she had to go to, or coaching or classes or whatever, to learn to be happy with herself, flaws and all, because a lot of us, we feel so guilty about our flaws. Oh, I'm always angry. I'm a bad person. No, it's not good to be angry. Yes, but get help in working through that. You have to learn to accept yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So Ajua says, many do not even know what they want to even identify their needs. One cannot give what he or she does not have, so they will not be capable in establishing anything in life at all besides depending on others to save them or disturbing others' peace. I always laugh when you say about depending on others to save them. It's like, how can you afford to be so helpless? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you can't. You are taking a risk. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that it is okay to be vulnerable, because your vulnerability will show you your weak areas that you have to work at. But to sit there and be helpless and say, oh, I can't do this, somebody has to carry me, oh, woe is me, this and that. There are people who get tired of it. After a while, you find out your circle would have grown smaller, because people will say, well, I've advised this person, I've said this to them, I've said that to them. They are not listening. Because when you give advice to people and they don't follow it, it gets frustrating when they keep coming back. So at some point, you have to put your boundaries up and say, looky here, we talked about this, remember? 3 whatever ago, you came and talked to me. You've talked to me in the last 2 months. You've talked to me about 6 times. This conversation, we had it 4 conversations ago. What have you done since then? And then they get mad because they don't like you. They don't like being held accountable. No, like, your time is valuable. You can't spend time advising people who are not going to listen and who don't want to change. Hmm? It's serious. We do ourselves a disservice. It's so sad, because you know what we are doing to ourselves? You came on this earth with a purpose. You have brains, and people, do you know the brain cells that are just dying because people are sitting around not using it? They feel so, oh, maybe I'm this, me or bar, I'm this, and I was this. Oh, really? Oh, really? You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Like, I don't know. I won't sit here. Like, I know people create a whole lot of impressions. Marriage this, marriage that. It's a good thing. But have you always been happy in it? Are there not times that you figure in your soul, you go, oh, yeah, yeah, I know my partner loves me, this, but don't you feel in your soul that there's just something too that is inside you, that something that you need that is not being met? Or something that you should be doing? Is that all for you? Is that all? And we're not marriage bashing here. We're just being practical because we, from our society, we make a lot of noise, and women treat other women badly, especially if they don't have a partners or they are single or what have you. So it's like, you know what? You are special. Whether you are married or not married, you are special, especially in God's eyes. So don't let anybody be telling you otherwise. You know, we are so, I don't know. It's like nobody is going to come from the outside and make you happy. It has to start from the inside out. And those moments of joy and contentment that comes from you doing that work. You are married, that's fine. Yes, but what brings you joy? When all these aspects you work, nobody is ever 100%. Let's get that straight. But if you are able to put all these pieces in place around you, you find that gradually you are progressing somewhere. You're not feeling that emptiness in you. Okay? Because listen to me, you can love your kids to death, you can love your husbands to death, but if you don't do something for yourself, when they turn 18 and they start going on their way doing their things, you start to feel very resentful, very sad, very morose. If you are not careful, you'll sink into a depression because you refuse to take stock of your life and say, yes, I have responsibilities too, but what am I here for outside of being somebody's wife, being somebody's mother? What am I here for? And figure it out and do it. Something that brings you joy. Ajua says that's their defense mechanism because our society communities have allowed it for decades and decades. Take most families in abroad, always sending money back home for family who are sitting home complaining about not having jobs, but they have money to go to the bar, chill, have multiple partners, mistresses, etc. Ajua, you have said it. That is the state of learned helplessness that I talk about. Oh, sit there, somebody will come and do it for you. And we are foolish and we keep doing it. And then these are the same persons who use your money as a point of contact to go and do things. So they'll say, "Oh, let me go and take this to somebody to pray on them so that they turn their mind. And anytime I ask them for money, then boom, they bring it." How does that help you? How does that help you? We need to do something different because as soon as something happens, oh, there's a funeral, somebody has died. Oh, I'm waiting for money from abroad. If the money from abroad is not coming, will you not still have the funeral? So I don't know. It's as women, right? We are the nurturers. And if you've become you are not in that place of contentment, you're not working to get to that place of inner beauty, serenity, and that, what are you teaching your children, male or female? What are you teaching? What are they seeing? Right? Yeah. So you are sitting there helplessly teaching your daughters to that they have to go and get married to be important in life. And then your sons are also watching you that, oh, as for women, their place is this. So then they also go out there and then they treat somebody's child the same way. Oh, stay home and cook and clean for me. Really? You know? The thing is, whether married or not, you have a life to live. You have to be joyful. You have to have peace. You have to have comfort. What have you? So if you are not married, are you just sitting there to waiting for the man to come and do it for you? Aren't you surviving weren't you surviving before the man came along? So what is it? So the question that I'd ask is, where are you on your journey to wholeness, peace, and serenity? The second part of it is, or are you feeling stuck, unsure which way to go? When you are stuck and you're unsure which way to go, let me tell you this, it takes an honest person, in this case, an honest woman, to be able to look at herself clinically and speak the truth and say, oh, well, I'm not doing that great in this area. I better do something about it. I've surrounded myself with this circle of friends and my life doesn't seem to be moving anywhere. Theirs doesn't seem to be moving anywhere. Maybe I need to take stock and make some changes, find people, find friends who can help me, and I can help them. Let's build ourselves up, grow. Because if you want to make progress in life, you have to look for a particular tribe, people who are not afraid to share with you where they've been, where they are going, so that you can also make those changes in your life. Because you can't sit in life and just sit there and still be the same. Sadly, some of us, a gentleman I know made this comment that we have people, you know, say guys, and you see them in suits. Yeah, and it's right now 2021, but they have the same mindsets that their fathers had 50 years ago. Oh, don't do this. Oh, you can't do this. This is bad. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Technology. What is the child doing on YouTube? What is this? What, like, we run away from everything. Timidity. Timidity. We don't try things. Even when they see people doing business on online and making money, they think, oh, it's a lazy way. We need to go to work 2, 3 jobs, work hard. Then we know, really, when people are asleep and their money is working for them, you are sitting there saying you have to go out and work 3 jobs. So maybe you have a woman or a man doing that and you say, oh, they are not working, they are lazy. So we need a whole lot of change, mindset change that has to happen. Look, like I said, if you are feeling stuck or unsure, sometimes even it's not talking to people physically. There's resources. Somebody can mentor you from afar. All you need to do is get their audio books or get their books and read it. And I know we don't like buying books, but there's pdfdrive.net, free downloads. Go download and read. You don't have to sit and read a whole book before you get anything out of it. You can flip through. Even if you read a paragraph and you get a nugget out of it, you are one step ahead. Let's make the effort. We need to just make that effort because we just don't, we've stayed the same for too long and we're still working with those same old dynamics. Some are changing, but it's like, and sometimes so the younger people too are getting it and they are making those changes because in this marriage situation where the older men in our culture, they are so, macho, this, that. The younger ones are getting it. And when you hear some of the conversations, you go, wow, that is different. This is real good. They don't feel emasculated when they have to help their wife because the wife is tired. They don't feel that. But these older ones, oh, like, no, you see, we all have to work on ourselves, both men and women. Men should stop feeling threatened or intimidated by women, strong women who want to do things, who want to go places. You should feel blessed if you have such a woman because she'll help you push towards your goals. If you are sitting with a woman who perhaps does not really want to do much and she'll just, oh, I'm at home with the kids, I'm just doing this part-time, this or that, the financial burden of the family, the pressures falls on your shoulders alone. And when you're not around, what happens? So this is why a lot of times when divorces or marriage breakups or whatever, separations, death, whatever happens, the women are usually the ones left with the children, and then their lifestyle changes, poverty. They just go down to the poverty level. So It's in your best interest as a woman to want to even better yourself and do well in the marketplace so that your finances, at least you are able to also help towards the upkeep of the family. Don't just leave it on a man alone. But hey, we've been talking a lot. I've been talking about cultivating inner beauty. I've talked about a whole lot of other things as well, but it's all one and the same basket, in the sense that we need to, as women, to be growing ourselves and teaching our daughters, our sons and daughters, to be better people, not to make the same mistakes that we have made in life. Train your son. Your son can learn how to bake, he can learn how to cook, so he does not get saddled with, oh, my girlfriend knows how to cook, so she'll cook for me. And then maybe the girlfriend is not really somebody you want to marry, but because they are cooking fufu and making abeti and whatever for you, then you go and marry them. And later, then you go to work or whatever, and you see the smart, strong women, and you go, oh, gee, I wish my wife was like that. Those kinds of things. Everybody needs to be independent, self sufficient. Your daughters should learn how to cook clean. They are not learning to cook clean because they are going to be somebody's wife. We need to stop saying those kinds of things. Oh, learn how to cook so that your husband this. We put too many labels on women in our society. It's got to stop. We have to allow people to be themselves. Me recently, I've been saying, and I'll say it again, maybe this is the fourth or fifth time somebody is going to hear me say it. I say that I don't understand why our sisters, our Caucasian sisters in the diaspora, they get the choice. They have the choice of deciding whether they want to be married or not. Because where I come from, somehow too, I wish I had that choice, just to have it that, hey, if you decide not to get married, nobody's going to look down on you. They don't have that pressure. I mean, they get it from family. Oh, aren't you settling up? But it's not like, oh, boom, you have to be married. Look, there are young ladies, even they're in a relationship, they'll decide, oh, I'm going out of town. I'm going to go do travel nursing, whatever. Yeah, they have a boyfriend. You crew me and Quebec say, oh, but why are you going? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Like they've married you already and they are trying to stop you from having your life experiences before you go and settle down. So these are some of the things, like we don't give ourselves, we don't expand our horizons. We just operate out of, where's our jaw, out of the narrow box. Even with a box, we don't know that there's different corners that we can move to if things get hard, let alone learn how to jump out of the box. So for me, my jumping out of the box is that I wish that in my culture, I'd been given the option of deciding, choosing whether I want to get married or not. I shouldn't have to get married because the culture demands it of me, because marriage is not for everybody. And we can pretend and do all kinds of things, but we have to say it the way it is. Like, just to have that option of making a choice. Because then we have young girls now, if they are not married, oh, when are you getting married? Anytime they say, oh, when are you getting married? Those who just got in it, is it hunky dory? We need to just leave people alone, leave women alone to live life at their own pace and decide when they, though, I mean, I understand that the biological clock and this and that, but Charlie, the pressure is too much. The pressure is too much, and we need to focus on more important things, as in growing yourself. And yet, I mean, sometimes I guess you can't win. You grow yourself, and then some men are scared, and some to know. But like I say, the outlook is changing. Be yourself. Uh, Growing yourself doesn't mean that I'm saying go and sit in school for 6 years and learn something. There's all kinds of things going on. Read. Reading opens your mind. Do you know the number of books that I have that I haven't read? It's like, no, read. So I have them. When I go and pick it. I bought this little book from the Christian bookstore here, and it's on Psalm 91. And it's a military version. So some lady wrote it, and it's stories to do with military, like people in the military, but using the Psalm 91. It's told a story from, but there's some nuggets in there. I've had the book forever and ever. Just last week, I went and rearranged my little basket and of books. I said, oh, these are books that I should pick out and read for my prayers and this and that. And I'm reading through, I didn't read from the beginning. I just opened somewhere. It's dealing with the whole of Psalm 91. So it might be talking about the pestilence or the arrow that flies by day or whatever. I read it, I'm like, oh, there's all these nuggets in here. You see, in reading, you get knowledge, you know, but we've limited ourselves so much that we don't grow. We are just stagnant and we are sitting there, kukuti, you know, like, and you're going to live like this and die and go to the grave with nothing accomplished. It's so sad. So, you know, I'm just saying that, yes, we started from talking about cultivating a woman of inner beauty. And I've thrown out a whole bunch of advice for everybody, young men, young women, old women like myself, middle age, whatever. Let's do better. Let's grow ourselves so that we can, you know, when we are content, when we come to that place of wholeness, peace, and contentment, that is when that we have positive and powerful effects, impacts on each other. There'll be none of this. A lot of us walking around are the walking wounded. We have a lot of trauma we didn't deal with in our childhood. You go on social media and see what our people are doing there to tell us a story. So if you take the time, but yet we cover it up and then we keep spewing out this hurt and visiting other people with that trauma. But if we took the time to do our work, oh my goodness, we would be so much far ahead. So I encourage you today that don't let society hold you back. Don't let the pressures or what societal dictates, the culture or whatever hold you back. Just make an effort for yourself. Sit down, be honest with yourself. Start from your strengths, your weaknesses, outline a plan for yourself and how you're going to accomplish your personal growth and development. It's all up to you. So I hope that you do come out smelling like a rose. There's days that the thorns, you know, you get pricked by the thorns, but just keep going. Never give up. Push yourself to be better. So with that, I thank you for coming to listen to me today. Yeah, Russell went AWOL. So yeah, it's her birthday weekend. So maybe she's partying it up somewhere. Yeah. So thank you, Ajuodo, Miss Sage, um, Mr. Bedu, Aisha. Who else am I missing? Oh, Miss Abigail. Yes. And anybody else who was not commenting but was on, I thank you so much for coming. Ajua says, bam, bam, and bam. Until people take time to seriously look at themselves to change their narrative, their future will continue to be nothing different from their current status. It's important to acquire know-how, and people need to believe in themselves and make great efforts to succeed. Thank you, Ajua. So I thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you all. I'll be back on Tuesday with refreshing for my weary soul, and I'll be tackling the topic Be Guileless. So hope to see you then. Hey, God bless you all and have a fruitful and blessed week. Take care of yourselves. Thank you.